Hey, Arman here. Welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show, where we cover training, nutrition, supplementation strategies, and a whole lot more. So stand by. Hey, and welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
I'm Frank Mills. Thank you for joining us for our 50th episode. Wow.
Yay.
Unbelievable. But on today's show, we're going to be talking about, it's a little bit of a celebration today. We're going to celebrate. We're going to reflect back on our 50 episodes. And it's all because of you. So we want to thank you for listening and watching to the show. We very much appreciate it. But in the second part of the show, we're going to talk about what people need to understand on how insulin works for fat loss. It's really important.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about those two things. But, Arman, already 50 shows. This is kind of crazy. This started out as, hey, guys, want to try this out a couple weeks? And next thing you know, we're at 50 shows.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's been great. I'm looking forward to more shows. But yeah, we really appreciate the support, and we're going to keep working on getting good content.
Well, talking about to celebrate, we got to involve the audience a little bit. What do you think on how we should go about doing that?
Yeah, we were thinking, and I ran it by the NSP management. And so what we like to do is offer a prize for the listener that can give us some ideas regarding another show. So if you give us a great idea for a show, that's what we're looking for. So if you can do that, we're willing to give you some prizes.
Okay, so everybody should know how to contact us by now. I mean, we've got the QR codes up there you can scan with your phone that you'll be able to text us, email us, whatever. And then you can also contact us the normal ways, which is support@nspnutrition.com, or I'm blanking out. What's the other way that they can contact us? Comment on YouTube. So there's a lot of different ways to contact us. So we want to hear your idea for a show.
Yeah.
And the best show topic winner will get what, Arman? What do they get?
Well, after talking to the management, they're comfortable with, I'm going to offer a free 40-minute Zoom call to talk about whatever challenge you have, or what kind of things you may need help with, and give you my input. So it's a one-on-one Zoom call.
Wow.
So those people care about that.
Okay.
And then we're going to offer a free shirt, NSP shirt. So we just let you see what size you are and what shirt you want, whether it's a tank or the T-shirt, that kind of thing. And then they're also going to throw in a $25 gift card, so you get $25 towards your supplement purchase or book or whatever you want to do. So we thought that'd be a good starting point. Now, as we continue to grow the show, there could be bigger prizes down the road, but right now that's where we're at. So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, I think that's pretty good. I mean, you get a 40-minute Zoom call with Arman, and you get a free NSP T-shirt and a $25 gift card. Okay, so get your topics in. We'll go over it again throughout the show. But, this is pretty cool that the listener gets to talk about what they want us to talk about. I mean, the idea is a pretty great opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to get the information on the topic of your choice. So if this is something that, you're really, curious about, and ends up being a topic that we really enjoy as well, then you're going to get some prizes to go with it. So, people that are pretty creative or just really looking for answers, this is a great opportunity for you.
So get your topic, think about your topic, and get them in, and we'll go over all the contact options again. But man, this is a really great thing that NSP and Arman are both offering. So please take advantage of it. We want to hear your topics. But, speaking of topics, Arman, we've done 50 shows, and we've had some really popular shows because we can see the views and how many people listen to it and that kind of stuff. And then we've
Right.
had some others that, weren't as popular,
Right.
but
That's
you
going to
care to,
happen.
so do you care to elaborate on these a little bit?
Yeah. So looking back, I mean, our first show we kicked off with has grown. Okay. So that show has had like 648 views, which is really exciting. That was the first show we did. Then we've done, again, the other shows, and we've had a lot of, variance with that, but which has all been good. But we did have some episodes that were kind of dropping down. But like the first show we did was it was about training for men 40 and over, and then
Right,
the
right.
best nutrition approach. So that was a good topic. So we need to keep looking at different topics that guys and gals are interested in. But we did bottom out to like on it was like episode 39 where we talked about Vince's Master Series on compounds and splits. Most likely people were kind of familiar with that, and this one is interested in looking at it. So we only had 79 views, so that was one of them that was disappointing. But that's how you learn. You got to figure out, okay, what are they interested in? What are they not interested
Right.
in? And I do agree that some people probably got a little bored with the extensive Master Series that we covered.
Right.
But I mean, I thought I'd give it a shot and see how people, would respond to it. So probably won't do that again going forward. But anyways.
Well, it's trial and error on some of the shows because, a lot of times when we're talking about the content and what we're going to do, since we started on the first show, things have kind of evolved, even
Yeah.
our backdrop has changed a little bit, our
Oh yeah.
style and format has changed a bit. But, you know, thanks to you, the audience, we are growing. And, Armin, I just was very surprised because on a couple shows back, we had asked everybody to help us with subscribing to the show or sending it and sharing it.
Yeah.
And we got a little exciting news there too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll cover that in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Just to kind of let people know. But yeah, I really appreciate the support that we've been getting, and
We
things
have,
are
we have.
things are getting better and better. Yeah.
Okay. Well, back on to the topics here. Any ideas on other topics going forward? I mean, I know we're having the contest, but what do you think, Armin?
Well, that's another thing. I was going to kind of do a little surprise drop in to see what people thought of these topics. So, one of them I was going to do is why Vince did not seem to use heavy compound lifts like it's promoted all over. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
everybody like you got to do compound lifts, which I'm back and forth on that. And also how Vince built great physiques, and he wasn't using heavy compound lifts. So I'm looking at something on
Right.
that. Another one would be, strategies to improve, your weak body parts. Vince had great ideas with that. And then talk about some of the other, online gurus that act like they've got it all put together. And just comment on, well, do they or don't they? Like Athlete X, he's got a great following, but I can tell you right now, he didn't have all the answers. Nobody's got
Right.
rock and all the
Right.
good answers. So we got some things there that we could, comment on things that we don't recommend that you follow with him. And, but he's a good guy. He gets stuff done. But there's some things that, I don't agree with. And my physique is a little different than his physique. So anyways, just kind of brainstorming here.
Absolutely. Well, we're asking for other ideas, but and I know that we've talked about things, but do you have any other ideas that you have in your mind?
Well, again, I'm all ears to find content that I feel that our listeners are really looking for. So maybe these prizes can help spur on that thinking process and give us some good creativity. You just never know, but when we get good, when a lot of people start thinking, good things happen. So you always get better results with numbers, in my opinion. So
Well, the thing that's impressed me the most, I guess, was when we started the show. We really didn't know how things were going to go. With NSP, saw
yeah,
Frank Mills Reality Fitness. We started talking about doing a show for NSP, and we started. And how things have evolved there's a lot that we had to learn, like, with YouTube, with,
Yeah.
our podcast hosting site, and how things really worked and integrated where we could get the show out there.
Right.
But as I alluded to earlier, we've got some pretty exciting news today about the YouTube channel. Do you want me to go ahead and break it then?
Yeah, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead,
All
man.
right, drum roll.
Save it for you.
Gosh, we asked you guys to help us and subscribing to the show. You've been sending it to your friends, your family members. And Arman and I were talking, I guess, on the phone Tuesday, and
Yeah.
it looks like Tuesday we hit 1,000 subscribers. We actually have 1,001 now or something like that. But we did break 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty damn exciting. I mean, I was very fired up. How about you?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And then this is going to allow us to, this opens the window for YouTube to kind of promote the show more as well, because they'll be placing ads, which help everybody in general as far as monetization, so that we can do more with the show, and that's what we were hoping for. So good news. That we It also takes time for anything to happen though, so we're just getting started on that. So, but as we get YouTube to help promote the show more, it's going to get us more subscribers, and it's going to help get more content and get us more things to build on. So yeah, it's an awesome thing that's going on.
Well, the reason why we even started back with Frank Mills Reality Fitness and also doing the NSP Nutrition show is we are kind of passionate about wanting to help people improve their health, improve their strength, improve their lives, right? And, it's been a lot of fun where we started in this journey that we were on, and, it should only get better, right, Arman?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to keep adding quality content that people want to hear, because that's what we have to do. And then we get to help them to get better results naturally that will help them stay motivated and keep them to, take their training and their nutrition and other things that are important to them to the next level. So that's what it's all about. And it's like anything, you got to figure out what people need help with, because we're kind of guessing sometimes when we comment, but we're getting that feedback more and more. So we're getting closer to getting her dialed in, so each week we could have even more intense content. I think today's topic after this is going to be a good one regarding insulin, because people have no idea how that works. So from what I'm seeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, a lot of great information. Get your topics in.
Yeah.
Again, the ways to do it: scan the QR codes, email or text Arman and I, or email support@nspnutrition.com, or comment on the YouTube channel with your idea, your name, so that we know who you are. Make sure that you get entered into the prize. But if you don't contact us and add your name, email on how to contact you, we can't give you the prize, right? We can't contact you. So make sure you include all that information. And, Arman, we're running out of time as usual. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say we really appreciate the support. It's awesome. And, things are going to continue to get better. It's just a matter of searching for other good content and great ideas that can help everybody, at least to some level. So it's a good thing that's happening, and we're really excited about the future.
All right. Arman and I are going to take a quick break. Stand by for a quick word from NSP Nutrition, and Arman and I will be right back.
Hey, and welcome back to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
I'm Frank Mills, and we appreciate you joining us as usual. But hey, before we get into the next topic, we want to talk about a little something on NSP Nutrition. I know we talk about a lot of different things, but Arman, the thing I didn't realize, and as I was checking out the website this week, there is a boatload of documentation from Vince all over the website that can
Oh
help
yeah.
anybody's workout, nutrition, whatever. I didn't realize there was so much on there.
Yeah, they've been really trying to step that up to get that information out there again to help support the everybody that's buying the supplements and needing help. So yeah, I mean you should really check it out. You're going to find some good ideas. You'll probably get some good takeaways no matter what you do. But it does take a little time. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be worth your time just to check out all the things that they've added recently. So check it
Yeah.
out.
So much stuff on there. I saw the Wild Physiques on there. We got the Master Series on there. A lot
Oh
of
yeah,
great information, and a lot of it we've talked about on the show.
right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, all right, check out nspnutrition.com and let's move on with the show. Insulin is really, to me, it kind of hits home. I know it hits home with you, Arman.
Yeah.
My father had diabetes. He had insulin issues, but this is an important topic to me. I know it is to you. And people need to understand how insulin works, but they need to understand how it works with fat loss as well.
Yes.
There are a lot of issues can come of it. So why don't we just start at the beginning on how insulin works?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, real simple. Insulin is released, okay, after you've eaten a meal that typically has carbohydrates and sugars, and the level of glucose in your bloodstream is gonna come up. So insulin's there. So it works simply by stimulating the uptake of glucose, the sugar and the carbs that are flowing around in your system, into the cells,
Hmm.
and then that helps to lower your blood sugar level. So when the cells can mean a lot of different things. So ideally, what you want is the insulin uptake is to push the sugars and the carbohydrates into the muscle cells and the liver because that's what helps with the storage of that. So you have that energy. But unfortunately, if you have too much carbohydrates and sugars, then it's going to get stored as fat, and insulin's going to help do that too. So that's one of the trade-offs you have with eating too much carbohydrates and sugars. So, and Vince picked up on this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a big deal that everyone does understand how this works. And, you know, um, it's something to me, and to most people probably sounds normal too for what you just said.
Yeah.
But why do people need to understand insulin for fat loss, Armin? Why is that important?
Well, from my experience, and this seems to be one of the most confusing things I have to deal with people when I'm, talking to them, or they have questions about how to lose weight, lose body fat. But when you have insulin elevated from eating carbs and sugars, it's always working on clearing the glucose to help provide the energy, that quick energy, that you need. And if it's not used, it's going to be stored. And then we also know it's going to be stored in different areas. But when insulin is elevated, it will not allow you to burn fat. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
scientific fact. Okay. So if you're eating a lot of carbs and sugars, don't expect to burn any fat. So you're not going to get fat loss, okay, by adjusting your diet because there's so many people that think calorie deficit, that's the answer. Now, calorie deficit is important. I'm not trying to discount calorie deficit, but at the
Right,
same
right.
time, being in a calorie deficit is not going to mean you're going to lose body fat. That is absolutely wrong on so many levels. And I really get irritated when people they comment, "Oh, all you got to do is be in a calorie deficit, and it's going to solve your problem." They don't have a clue, all right? Because
Right.
they haven't. In other words, they haven't taken it to the level I've taken it to, or other people I
Mm-hmm.
work with, because they lost a little weight. They think they solved the fat problem. That's
Mm-hmm.
really not what's going on.
Right, right. Well, there's a lot of arguments, a lot of information out there that can drive you crazy, but the bottom
Yeah.
line, I just want to go back here. So if you eat more carbs than your body can handle, what actually happens?
Yeah, that therein lies the big problem. And all you gotta do is look around in society to see it. Everybody eating all these carbohydrates, they're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
stored as fat, because the muscles in the liver are already full. So unless you're burning that energy up, there's no place for those excess carbs to go except to be stored as fat. And that is just another fact of life. And the thing is
Right.
people don't get that because they're not told that, or they're not getting educated that enough in the media, in my opinion. So I just think
Right.
that's a real disappointing situation. But that's me.
Is this what's causing, or what might be causing, the obesity problem in the United States?
Well, yeah, it's definitely a major factor because I mean, just look around. People
Yeah.
are eating processed food. The other thing, Frank, is if you're not very active, which a lot of people aren't, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need 3 meals a day. That's just stupid. Why would you need 3 meals a day? And plus, if
Right.
if you're eating excess food, that's not gonna help you any. So excess carbs are just gonna get stored as fat, and then on top of that, if you're eating a lot of fat with it, again, you're not burning any fat, so that's gonna get stored as fat. So you're already all you are is a storing machine.
Mm-hmm.
So some people think, well, all I got to do is burn all that off, and then I'll be okay. Well, yeah, if you can burn it all off, but that just means you're not going to store extra. That doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
you're going to burn fat. You're just getting rid of the glucose that's in your system. It's available and it's being stored. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
fat. That's the last thing you're going to go to, unfortunately. So, if you're really active and you don't have these kind of issues where you're gaining extra weight, not a big deal. 3 meals a day is probably going to be fine for your energy levels. But
Right.
this whole
Right.
thing about having to eat 3 meals a day, I mean, you watch these obese people that they're eating 3 meals a day because they think they have to eat 3 meals a day, to have energy to do these things. And that's wrong on so many levels at this point. And then again, that's my opinion on, whoever wants to say what they want. I'm firmly against people eating way too much food because all it's doing is aging them faster. And the other bottom line is excess insulin is toxic to your body. It's going to cause you to have diabetes. It's going to cause you to age quicker. There is no positives from having excess insulin. Anyways,
Interesting. So, Armin, regarding fat loss, what do people need to understand about that?
well, first and foremost, if somebody eats carbs throughout the day because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the food pyramid and other people are suggesting, just understand that you're never going to burn fat. It's not going to happen. And even if you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose some weight, but you're not burning fat. You're just going to burn the excess carbs you have. You're going to burn some stored glycogen. You're going to get some water. It's going to go away because carbs hold water. And then unfortunately, you're going to end up losing some muscle tissue through a process called neoglucogenesis because the body still wants those quick energy of carbohydrates. So it takes muscle, breaks it down into amino acids, which is converted to glucose, and keeps that process going. So the last thing you're going to burn is fat, and it's not going to happen until the insulin is all the way out of your system or down
Hmm.
to bare minimum so that it can
Mm-hmm.
work. People apparently don't understand that.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, there is a huge problem
Yeah.
in our country. You're right, with obesity. When you
Mm-hmm.
go out and about, uh, and it's unfortunate, you see it everywhere. People just don't seem to care about the weight or the health. But Armin, it kind of got me thinking: is this why Vince was not a big fan of carbs?
Oh yeah, I mean he figured that out a long time ago. I mean Vince
Yeah.
was a student of all components, and he agreed that you need some carbs, okay, to replenish the muscles in the liver, but only as needed, okay, because again, what builds muscle is protein and fats. The fats for the hormones, and then for sustainable energy, and the protein to help the muscle cells get larger and have protein synthesis going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is you got a lot of these other bodybuilders and other profession, people involved that think you have to eat carbs to build muscle. And that's not true. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
true. Carbs are needed to replenish the muscle and to give you energy. But saying they're going to build muscle is not
Right.
true. It's not what people think it is. But that's what you see promoted. You don't see them talking about protein or fat.
So, Armin, how do people get insulin out of the way to burn fat?
To me, the first step is you got to switch out how your body burns energy. Okay, and so if you and then what Vince figured out is okay, you don't have any carbohydrates eventually. you're going to burn fat as your energy system. And the beauty of that is it lasts for 4 to 6 hours, which he commented in all of his documents. He talks about that. All
Mhm.
right. So, but one way that I like to help people with is, stay under 30 grams or less of carbs per day for, let's say, 8 to 10 days. So that's going to bring that insulin way down, and it's going to kick in the ketones.
Hmm.
Now, when
Okay.
you do that, when you cut those carbs back, obviously the body is used to using the quick energy of sugars and carbs. Well, that's going to have to change. So around day 3 or 4, depending on how active you are and if you're training things, you may kind of hit the wall and feel a little sluggish. Your workouts, you may lose some strength initially, which is what happened with me. I was training real heavy, and man, I just hit the wall like unbelievable. I made the switch, and but ironically, uh, 2 days later, bam, everything came right back. And well, I wouldn't have any more carbs, but at the same time, my bodies are using the ketones from the body fat, and I'm working. Things are fine. So it's really
Hmm.
amazing how it works. Okay, but that's what you're doing. You're switching out how you burn energy, quick energy. You're not using that anymore. You're going to do the sustained energy of fats. The nice thing about that is it eliminates your cravings. You get rid of the cravings, and you have more control over your appetite, which is another thing that's pretty important because all these people eating way too many carbs because their insulin's elevated all the time, and it keeps their ghrelin active, the ghrelin hormone that says, "Hey, I'm hungry." They think they have to eat all the
Right.
time because these
Right.
signals are sent to their system, and that's to keep their energy up. And that's really a bad situation in my opinion because they don't even know any better.
Well, it kind of makes a lot of sense because when I've done my fasting that you and I have talked about,
Yeah,
that-
right. Yeah.
that's basically what's happening. It's resetting my system,
Hmm.
and it has helped tremendously. Whether you're doing as far as a day fast, or I've done the
3 day
3 day
fast.
fast, but right, okay. So Armin, so what should somebody do after the detox period?
Yeah, that's a good question. So once you've made that switch, okay,
Hmm.
then as you're training, you should probably, like Vince would suggest, having some carbohydrates about every 3 or 4 days. So you can do that, or you can, depending how lean you are, you could have a little bit more often. So if you're leaner, you can have more often. If you're not, then you want to do probably the 3 or 4 day time before you reload. Now, the key thing is when you're going to reload those carbohydrates is to reload them in the evening. Okay. And the purpose of that is so that you can get what you want to do is high glycemic carbs. Now this goes against what most of these other experts say, but I don't care because I know this works really well. Is high glycemic carbs, what they do is it makes the insulin rise very rapidly, which the experts are like, oh, that's bad. But if you're staying low carb, it doesn't matter because you're not having it 3 times a day. You're not spiking on
Hmm.
insulin 3 times a day. You're spiking
Right.
it once every 3 days or whatever. Who cares? So that spikes. The reason you want that is because it'll drop back down in an hour. So now you're back to fat burning. And when the insulin spikes and you have those carbohydrates in the evening, which is what I suggest, and which I think Vince suggested as well, is that increases your serotonin levels, which that makes you feel good, makes you sleepy, makes you drowsy. And on top of that, that serotonin converts to melatonin, and that helps you get a good night's deep sleep. And that deep sleep will help growth hormone release and helps your hormones to do their job the way they
Hmm.
need to. So it has good features with it from there. So that's how I recommend it. That's how I do it myself. I don't have very many carbs throughout the day, but in the evening I'll have them. As you get leaner, typically you can have carbs every night before you train because that just reloads the muscle so you have good energy. So that's
Hmm.
one good approach to doing it, and manage your insulin. So because insulin insensitivity and insulin resistance is a huge problem in the United States.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Armin, we're running out of time. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, less insulin use is going to be the key thing for your body because this keeps your insulin sensitivity high. And when it's high,
Hmm.
you're going to be able to push those nutrients into the cells very successfully, very, very quickly. When you're not having good sensitivity, then you're not going to absorb the nutrients the way you want to. And that's just so you have excess. That excess leads to high glucose readings, which over time is going to increase your A1C, which is going to lead to diabetes. You'll be pre-diabetes, then they're going to want to put you on drugs. So there's no benefit of it. Again, insulin's toxic to the system. So the more you understand insulin and how it works, the more you can control it. then the better, because you're going to be able to control the aging process, which is going to allow you to control heart disease, diabetes, and these other inflammation, these other issues that start to affect the body because you're getting too much of something that the body doesn't like. So, I mean, insulin it can be very toxic, and it's just not a good thing to have. And if you don't know any better, start changing things, because then that you know better, you're going to have a better experience with your training. You're going to have a better experience with your energy, and you're going to live longer, and you're going to have, a lot more to enjoy. So anyway, it's just my kind of rant on that one.
Well, that kind of ties right back into topics for the show, because a lot of these topics that we've gotten from past shows, other shows we did on reality fitness, it's all been because of the feedback that we get. We get a lot of suggestions for topics. Sometimes we have to come up with stuff on our own, but we do that. But this opportunity, here's the opportunity for you, the listener, the viewer, to come up with a topic for the show and win a great prize. And Arman, you want to go over what they win again one more time?
Yeah. So if we like your topic, what we're going to do, we're going to give you a one-on-one with me for 40 minutes, a Zoom call. So I can learn more about what's important to you, what you're struggling with, or what you want help with, and give you my ideas, my input. Hopefully that'll help you. I think it will. Then you get a free NSP shirt of your choice, whether it's a tank or t-shirt or whatever you prefer. And then a $25 gift card to get you some more supplements, or to put towards, one of Vince's books, or whatever you feel makes sense for you on the NSP Nutrition store.
Well, and again, the best way to contact, scan the QR codes, email support at nspnutrition.com, or comment on the YouTube channel. Make sure you include some way for us to contact you that we can get back to you if you are the winner, if you're the lucky winner. But, Arman, reflecting back, another great show. You put together 50 of them. Amazing job. And I'm sure everybody appreciates it, because our subscribers are going up. So thank you for all that you do. I'm sure everyone has a big, solid thank you, and keep it going for us. What do you think?
I'm all for it. So let's keep getting creative and find solutions for people so they get better health and get what they want out of their efforts.
Well, thanks again for joining Arman and I for another NSP Nutrition show. Get your topics in. We look forward to seeing your ideas and your suggestions. And you can join Arman and I next week for a brand new episode of the NSP Nutrition Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out the NSP show. Go to nspnutrition.com, where you can find a whole heap of resources to help you achieve stunning definition and eye-popping levels of muscularity. Don't forget, you can save 10% on your first order by using the code NSP show at the checkout. Catch you next time.